just don't seem to muster any points either. I do have Chandler Catanzaro on my fantasy squad along with Graham Gano, and they both suck this year after, I believe being ranked almost 1-2, 1-3 maybe going into the season. 16-10 Arizona.
Ooh, in a tight one.
Really? You see defense? I haven't seen anything resembling defense from the Carolina Panthers this year.
No, I see David Johnson having a little bit of fun against that team. But, again, I just see some sort of a fluky game here. For whatever reason, I feel like Carolina, this is their last breath, their last gasp. It's like a drowning man. And they're just going to make one more push, enough to upset an Arizona Cardinal team that is probably much better and will go much further. But let's slide along here in the effort to keep this short and quick, which we haven't done. But this is actually a good NFC East game. Philadelphia at Dallas. Dallas is a 4-point favorite at home. Over-under here, 43 points. I'm going to jump in and do it quick. Dallas, I think the Cowboys are probably the more complete team just because they've had the experience with Jason Garrett in that seat that he's been in for a long time. Garrett's a good head coach. I've been a little bit hard on him over the years for being Jerry's puppet, but he's got to be doing something right. I know that everybody in the NFL should take a look at that blueprint, and that is protect your quarterback and get a running back who can hit those holes. The offensive line in Dallas is great. Ezekiel Elliott is hands down your rookie of the year right now. Dak Prescott is benefiting from everything that running game brings. He's put in a good position to win by Jason Garrett. They don't ask him to do too much. They ask him to do just enough, and that kid does a great job of doing his job and doing it well. I think Dallas surprises everybody and does beat Philadelphia this week. But in a tight one, I'm looking for another push here. Dallas wins this game 24-20. I think that's what the fellas out in the desert see happening too.
Good. I like it. But I'm going to go against the grain here for the sake of making it interesting. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game. Whew, this is a tight one. This is a really tight one. I think both these teams. I think Dallas right now is playing better than anybody, besides maybe the New England Patriots. They're playing better than anybody, and I just love that offensive line. Zeke Elliott, the combination, they just beat you up. But I think this is the game where I think old Carson Wentz is going to shine. He goes out there in this game because I think the storyline leading up to this game is who's the better franchise, who's the franchise quarterback, who's better for it, Dak Prescott or Carson Wentz. I think this is where Carson Wentz shows why he was the number 2 overall quarterback selected. I think this is going to be a really good game. I'm looking forward to it actually. I look for the Philadelphia Eagles to pull it out in the end. I look for a score along 20-17.
Okay, sounds good. 37 total points, staying under. Pepper Jack
is looking at his trend analysis. Dallas is 5-0 against the spread. Last 5 games are also 5-0 straight up in their last 5 games. They're 4
Here's another
home.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I just want to throw this in real quick, Jack. Another quirky stat is the Dallas Cowboys are typically a much better team on the road than they are at home. There's really over the years, if you look at the numbers, they're not home field advantage. Does just not play out for the Cowboys. They just always seem to play better on the road. Don't know why, but just seems to happen. But go ahead.
Well, maybe to add to that, I don't think that they've had too much success on Sunday Night Football either.
Primetime games, no. Typically, no. They've turned into shit, and when the lights get bright.
Well, they're favored by 4. They're at home. It is Sunday night. Ezekiel Elliott is a beast. Prescott is very smart. I believe Des Bryant comes back this week. I don't know if he'll have any influence on the game. Philadelphia, boy, I don't know. That team is a Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyll and Hyde?
Jekyll and Hyde for me because I just don't know which team's going to show up. They last week they just humiliated Minnesota. I did not see that coming, and I don't think other than little Joey over there, I don't think anyone saw it coming. Good job, Joey. But I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I think, Tommy, you and I are right on. I know that's a 4-point game. I'm going to take Dallas 24.5-20. Can I do that?
You can do anything you want.
I just see them covering, but I see that score right around that 4, though.
24.5-20?
Yep.
Excellent.
Sticking with it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's and actually might be one of the better games of the afternoon. Monday night, I'm getting a real tired of these NFC North black and blue, Chris Berman, rock'em sock'em bullshit games. Minnesota.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. There's no none of that exists with the Chicago Bears right now.
Yeah, it's just nonsense. And I know that the NFL has difficulty with the logistics of moving game times around.
Do you realize that the Chicago Bears have had 2 Monday night games now?
I do.
I
realized they've had a Thursday night game.
And everybody gets one of those stinkers.
Yeah, and this is just another stinker. I'm completely uninterested. I know that offense is like sex and it sells, but looking at this game, nothing about it is compelling. Nothing about it. I don't even care. You don't have fantasy implications in this game. Maybe the Vikings defense, maybe Stephon Diggs. Jerick McKinnon is back. Maybe I don't even know if Jeremy Langford is playing. Who's the Bears quarterback? Jay Cutler. Everybody but his mother hates him. That team is terrible. Everything about it.
Yeah, I've even heard he and his mother aren't on good terms anymore.
Yeah,
she thinks he's kind. I heard his mother said, "Well, Jake's a good boy, but he's kind of soft."
I heard his mother was upset that it's Monday night because she would have rather watched the Cubs game. Unfortunately, they're not playing Monday night, so she's stuck on Halloween.
No, but everybody in Chicago, everybody in Chicago is just effing over Jay Cutler, myself included. I'm tired of looking at him on the sidelines. And let me say something briefly here. Years ago, when the players' shots used to come up in their player profile during the game, and I used to see these guys making these mean mugs and just nasty faces and growling and snarling. And in the back of my head when I watch this, I think, what the fuck are you so angry about, dude? You're making millions of dollars playing a kid's game. And then you see certain players with big smiles on their faces. And it just made me take a completely different approach to all this. But I look at Jay Cutler and that nasty, pouty, crybaby, everything's so bad, just a Huckleberry Hound face. I can't stand him.
Did you hear what he said to John Fox? You have no choice but to trust me.
I did hear he said that he has no choice but to trust me, but I don't know that Jay Cutler wants to play football.
Doesn't that just sum Jay Cutler up to a T? That statement.
It does. And let me finish up with this. Years ago, Robert Griffin III had a situation where he threw his offensive line under the bus, and I think the following weeks he got slammed to the turf. And in those highlights, I never saw a tackle or a guard turn around and help him back up. Look for the same thing with Jay Cutler. If he gets hit, I think a few people are just going to stand there and stare. I don't think that that's very good for a team, and I don't think that puts them in any position to win a game. And I think head coaches actually understand that because John Fox knows he's not going anywhere, and Jay Cutler is at the end of the season. Minnesota wins this game handily, coming over a beatdown. If I'm a gambler, even though it's in Chicago and it's a division game, I would take Minnesota and lay the 4.5 points. They're going to beat them by 10 points.
Minnesota lay the 4.5 points. I'm totally with you. I can't even believe that number's that low. It makes me wonder. Yeah, I love the fight. Oh my gosh, that's food. That is food.
It's a good-looking pick.
I love Minnesota in this game. Not like love Minnesota in this game. I mean, what is that number 4.5 for? Because it's a division game. Because Jay Cutler's playing. Please,
then
Minnesota
Chicago
all day.
3 points.
Who cares? Minnesota all day, every day. Oh my God, they'll be all over Jay Cutler. They'll frustrate him. They'll sack him. They'll turn the ball over. Hell yeah, Minnesota Vikings, give me it.
Pepper right. Jack, what do you got, man? Last game of the week.
I saw Sam Bradford last week be Sam Bradford.
You did.
Minnesota's -4 on the road. 70% of America believes that the Minnesota Vikings will win by more than the 4. Mm-hmm. I see a low-scoring game, 24-14 Vikings. I'm in with you on the 10-point spread, even though it's a 4-point spread. Yeah. 40.5 is the total. It goes under. Really, like you mentioned, there's nothing interesting about this game. Chicago, Alshon Jeffrey's been a total bust this year.
He may be traded by Monday.
Out again. Stephon Diggs coming back from an injury hasn't really been Stephon Diggs the last couple of weeks. McKinnon is not Adrian Peterson. Just one of those.
You made one of those statements again. It's like saying, like I said last week when you said Landry Jones isn't Ben Roethlisberger. Like I said, it's like saying Adele isn't Megan Fox. You know what I mean? It's the same one with McKinnon and Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, just a lousy football game for Monday night. And I agree with you, Tom. Unless you have a few key players left for Monday night, you're not going to be watching.
No,
I don't know what's on regular TV that night, but maybe old Law and Order reruns.
Yeah,
I see. Maybe that'll come and play.
I see.
I would
Lemonade. I always found it very, very, very interesting that only in America, speaking of Ice-T, that a guy can release a song back in the day called "Cop Killer" and then actually be famous for portraying a police officer on TV later in his career. That is America right there for you.
Only in America is right for sure.
Only in America. Well, do we got 2 minutes to talk about tonight's Indians-Cubs game?
We do, but before we do that, I want to tell some of our listeners out there, first of all, welcome aboard to 2 new followers, which I have to admit, I love both of your Twitter names. Dirty Frank picked up the last couple weeks and has been contributing online, asking some fantasy questions as well. And so is my boy Brennan Huff. He is a prisoner on Planet Bullshit right now, but Brennan is a dedicated listener, and we'd like to thank him for his interaction as well. We got some new guys coming in and a lot of questions. Guys, send your questions on Twitter to @TL317. Those are all your fantasy questions. Anything else, anything you want to hear us talk about, or if you want us all to just shut up, that's fine too. But check us out @TL317 on Twitter or to the Facebook page, which is the Line Sports Talk Podcast. Don't forget to set up your league on Sunday Swim, bet against the spread, parlays, straight up, better your Sunday. Let's talk about the World Series because this has been some of the greatest baseball. I love October for a lot of reasons, and this is one of them, and it's promised to deliver 3 games in. But tonight is this is Game 4 already.
Game 4.
Game 4, yeah. This is pivotal. Last night was a crucial victory for Cleveland to steal one back tonight at Wrigley. A friend of mine yesterday shot me a text and said, "Hey, where's a good place to go watch the World Series?" And I said, "At Wrigley. Probably your best bet."
Wrigleyville.
So, towns, I'm in Tampa, Florida. People down here are going crazy. You see your Cubs hats. You see your Indians hats. The bars are filling up. It's a lot of fun. People are enjoying baseball. It's a nice-looking series. Kluber versus
Lackey.
John Lackey.
This was a
Go ahead, Pepperjack. What do you think, man?
Pepperjack's a homer, man. I mean, I'm a diehard Cleveland Indians fan. I've been enjoying this series. I've been enjoying this run. Actually, it's funny because after the Cavs won the championship back in June, people on Facebook were already scheduling the parade for the Indians World Series championship. Because, as you know, we drew about 1 million people downtown Cleveland after the Cavs won. I thought it was kind of funny because I'm thinking at that time, ain't no way, there's just no way. This team doesn't have the hitting. That pitching has just been phenomenal. Who would think that the Indians would shut the Cubs out 2 out of the first 3?
I didn't. That would have been the furthest thing from. I expected a hell of a night out of Kluber in Game 1, but to shut down, and I can tell you that I probably this season watched about 140 Indians games and about 120 Cubs games this year. Thank goodness for my MLB package, because it's true. The rumors, I have a major league package.
You're not alone.
I do that every night. I sit down on the couch and I use my major league package. I enjoy it. Yeah, I've watched the Cubs and the Indians all year long. I never would have thought that there was going to be this blank. Kluber was great. I don't like Kluber throwing tonight, and I understand the purpose for it, so he could be available for a Game 7. But I hope he's well rested.
Yeah, the thing with Kluber is he's either on or he's off, and we're going to find out early whether we're going to see Corey Kluber's Game 1 stuff. I got a feeling that you're right. I think that if Tito feels that he doesn't have it early on, you're not going to see him. Yeah, and I think that they're going to rest him up in case there is a Game 7. With all that being said, that Indians bullpen has just been phenomenal. Man, I don't have a prediction. I know that the Cubs have to win. I think it's a must-game win for the Cubs. If the Indians can steal 2 out of 3 in Chicago and then go home up 3-2, boy, that would really, really be sweet. So that's what I'm hoping for. We'll see what happens.
I can't help but wonder, too, we talked earlier about the comparison between these two teams and how the Indians are more like a traditional National League team and the Cubs are more like a traditional power-hitting American League team. And I can't help but wonder is if after tonight, after 4 games, we have enough of a sample size to say maybe playing in a National League park benefits the Indians more than it does the Cubs, because it seems that taking Schwarber out of that DH position, going back to Chicago, Schwarber not medically cleared to play the outfield, taking